It's not often I spend time playing with internet drama. I usually like to leave the drama on the stage after a passionate performance and typically don't follow up with an encore. Usually the way the cycle works is I'll make a video about a piece of drama, I'll share my thoughts, and that's the end of that. I've made my peace and I don't need to keep adding fuel to the flame. The fire is lit and it's burning bright. But in very rare cases, I'll make multiple videos on a particular subject matter, and that is reserved for the most egregious, heated pieces of drama that should never be snuffed out. And brace for impact, Roblox fans, because the CEO has doubled down on their decision to ban and threaten legal action against anyone who tries to make the platform safer for children by catching predators. It was only 2 days ago I made the first video sharing my thoughts on the subject matter, and since then, Roblox has gotten exponentially worse in regards to addressing it. For those of you living under a rock, allow me to give you a quick recap. Previously on Dragon Ball Z, Roblox banned a YouTuber named Schle on all of his accounts because he didn't go through the proper protocols when catching predators on the site. So Roblox threatened him with a lawsuit on behalf of the players, the pedophiles he caught and got arrested. Apparently when Schle was a child, he was a victim of a predator on Roblox, and as he got older, he wanted to make the platform safer for kids so they didn't have to experience what he did. Thus, he devoted his channel to actively exposing and catching predators on the site, and even got a few of them arrested by working with legal officials. Roblox doesn't do enough of this on their own, so he's dedicated his life to making the platform safer. He wasn't going behind their backs while doing this, he was actively providing Roblox with all of their evidence, reports, even sending physical copies to their headquarters, and they still did absolutely nothing except sit on their ass until this got enough traction that it spelt disaster for Roblox. So they threatened Schle with a lawsuit, claiming that he was in the wrong because he didn't go through the proper channels, something Roblox has refused to specify on, which makes me believe that it's all frivolous. Just an attempt to silence him and bury this dark truth the platform has faced for years, because legally, they have no grounds for a defamation case. But that's just my little tinfoil hat conspiracy. Flash forward to now, and all of this has backfired exponentially for Roblox. It's made global headlines, and for the first time, it seems like real attention is being brought to this huge problem on the platform, thanks to the controversy that's arisen. It was so bad, in fact, that apparently Roblox Corporation's Chief of Safety Officer, Matthew Kaufman, just sold over $800,000 worth of company stock shortly after the platform issued a cease and desist to Schle. That's not something you see very often. To have your Chief Safety Officer cash out that much stock after a huge controversy regarding the safety of the platform he's managing, it's pretty clear some holes are starting to appear in the ship over at Roblox. Sounds like he's pretty worried the fact that people are more aware of how poor the safety is at Roblox. But what's even crazier is that a US congressman is now working with Schle and other predator hunters in order to improve the safety of Roblox. And it's gotten so big that Roblox finally responded and are doubling down on their decision to fight back against the vigilante groups, which is mind-boggling how they would do this in the midst of a huge controversy and think it would be perceived as a dub. Why aren't you fighting back against the pedophiles? What is going on in that smooth brain over at Roblox HQ to want this to be the hill you die on? I've seen my fair share of stupid takes when it comes to internet drama, but this has no contrarians. You have government officials working with the community to tackle this problem. I know I made a Superman reference in my last video, but this really is some 1A level hatred. Both conservatives and progressives can agree Roblox fucking sucks. Hello, we are sharing more information about why it was necessary to remove vigilantes from Roblox, and the ways in which we review and act on reports of abuse on Roblox. While seemingly well-intentioned, the vigilantes we've banned have taken actions that are both unacceptable and create an unsafe environment for users. What? Schle and other vigilante predator catching groups are not making the game more unsafe than it currently is by letting predators continue to prey on kids. You're letting pedophiles run rampant on a platform that's predominantly used by children because you refuse to deal with the issue yourself. Like, that is a crazy stance to take. Similar to actual predators, they often impersonate minors, actively approach other users, and try to lead them to other platforms to have sexually explicit conversations, which is against our term of use. Accurate, timely reports from our community are important. Reporting through the appropriate channels, which I am so sick of hearing them spew that excuse, including our custom-designed reporting tools immediately and with as much specific information as possible, is the best way to help us remove bad actors from Roblox. These reporting tools are designed to capture key metadata and details that cannot be captured from an email or screenshot and enable faster, more effective reviews and more thorough reporting to law enforcement when warranted. Have I been on the wrong platform this whole time? What the fuck are you describing? I've been playing Roblox for well over 10 years, and I've never seen anything remotely resembling what they're describing. When does that go live? Because it's definitely not there now. That is one of the biggest lies ever told. Right up there with my last video, when I said I told people back in grade school that I was related to Henry Cavill. Just a complete ass pull. None of this is real, except for the fact that predators are on your platform, which you don't even acknowledge in your response. You just say you have protocols in place in case of bad actors, but not once do you acknowledge that this activity is happening on your site. That's the problem. No matter how many times people report these encounters through your channels, you don't do anything. There is no effective way or fast reviewing that leads to these bad actors being banned. I mentioned this in my last video, but Schle points out how there are dozens of predators that have been arrested, some including actual terrorists, yet they still have their accounts active on Roblox. Everything you've said is false. Logically, you should want to work with the vigilante groups who have proven results of making your site safer for the community. But instead, you vilify them because they're doing a better job than your system is at catching these predators and bringing attention to the problem at hand. When the company isn't doing enough themselves to ensure its users are safe, vigilantes are necessary because they're doing their job for them to make sure the platform is safe, because if it's not, that calls for more drastic measures. Right now, we are experiencing a large push for censorship, and while that is a whole other can of worms, if Roblox gets deemed as unsafe for kids, then government officials are going to push for it to be blocked in certain locations or require ID verification to access the platform, which is a bad thing. It's bad for you, the company. Nobody wants to give the government their information, and if you're not doing anything to help minimize the problem, that doesn't help your case. So most adults are going to stop playing Roblox, and most kids won't be able to play because you failed to do your part at providing effective security measures against bad actors. It just doesn't make sense why they would want to be so combative against something that greatly benefits them. We realize that no platform is perfect, but we prioritize trust and safety because it's core to what we do as a company. Again, just another fucking lie. Targeting the vigilante groups bent on bettering your site is not going to do anything to make it safer, especially when your CEO is prioritizing turning it into a 17+ dating site, which again, 17 is less than 18. This is an area where we invest heavily and are always innovating. Helping keep our users safe is a critical part of our vision of connecting a billion people with optimism and civility, and is a strategic imperative for our creator community, followed by the sucking of their own dick and flexing a bunch of stuff that's not true. Like, I understand there's only so much they can do, and it's not like they can banish them all to the Shadow Realm, but they're not doing the bare minimum. They're not even in the same realm as the minimum amount of security required to ensure their site is safe for kids. They give us a site of French cries talking about how with over 11 million users daily, it's a lot to comb through, which I'm not denying. Roblox is extremely popular. So I don't know why you wouldn't want to branch out to the vigilante groups and work with them in order to comb through things more effectively. All you're doing is showing the community you don't care about them by actively siding with the problem, the predators, the ones who are making your site unsafe for the players. They then give us their excuse for why they decided to remove vigilante groups. I apologize if I'm not as bubbly as I usually am, but it's just a lot of reading that has no nuance. We have been monitoring vigilante activity on Roblox for some time. These groups began by reporting safety concerns, commenting on news about Roblox, and challenging us to do better. We appreciate this feedback and used these reports to improve our safety systems. More recently, vigilante activity evolved. Instead of just reporting on safety issues, vigilantes started impersonating children and actively sought to connect with adult users. These conversations mimicked inappropriate behavior and actively encouraged others to connect on other social media and messaging platforms, thus bypassing Roblox's own safety system. Which again is false. Schle mentions this in his video and how the predators were always the ones initiating conversations. His group never incited anything. It was always the predators. These were not one-off situations, and we saw the behavior accelerating across many accounts. This activity created an unsafe environment and normalized behavior that is both unacceptable on Roblox and is against our term of use. Our policies prohibit directing other users off Roblox to another platform through chat and having/simulating sexually explicit conversations. These are serious policy violations that risk removal from the platform. Let's analyze this like John Madden going over a play. Let's see where things fell off for the defense. So you recognize these groups are reporting all of this to you, yet you're confused why they're doing more than just reporting. Well, this is just a hunch now, but could it be because they were sending you reports for so long and you never acted on it? The predators who were incepting horrible things to kids never got banned, but they themselves and other players actually have been banned before on your platform. I've been banned on Roblox after I mopped the floor with some kids on Squid Game. I responded after they started spamming actual Call of Duty level comments in the chat, and I got banned for 7 days. There's dozens of YouTubers and streamers who have been banned on Roblox for legitimately no reason. Even temporary bans on Roblox are still exponentially greater for the average player than predators who are committing actual crimes. How can they be so delusional? That is such a backwards line of justice. You weren't acting on any of the reports, so obviously they turned it over to the authorities, who did. The evidence was sufficient enough for the police to issue an arrest. So how is it not enough for you to ban them on your site? You punish the average player more than the actual threats, which should make it obvious that your system is heavily flawed. They've really put in more effort into their response than the entire safety of their platform. Here they talk about the importance of accurate reporting. I really don't want to read through all this mumbo-jumbo gobbledygook, so I'll try to give you the Cliff Notes version. Basically, they try to hide behind their numbers and use it as an excuse for why they can't accurately comb through all their reports. They keep saying they did, but obviously they didn't because no action was taken to ensure they were removed from the platform. And it's just so pathetic because people aren't that fucking stupid. If you have found a bad actor doing heinous things on the platform, people are going to be checking in on them to ensure they've been banned because they are dangerous to the community. Again, one of the people Schle talked about in his video got arrested for credible terrorist threats. He got banned before a terrorist. They then talk about how they actually go above and beyond to ensure the safety of their players by working with official law enforcement following official legal guidelines when it's appropriate in order to help track bad actors across platforms to keep users safe. In 2024, they submitted 24,522 reports on the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and how waiting to report to Roblox means alleged bad actors could remain on the platform longer, meaning the community will be put in additional risk. Overall, it's just them saying they do everything they can to ensure the community is safe, but the evidence says otherwise. There is a huge infestation of predators and other dangerous people on the platform that Roblox themselves are not doing enough to combat. They could say it 1,000 times, but it'll never be true. They're not doing everything they can to ensure the safety of its users. They're fighting back against vigilante groups, the ones who are catching child predators and working with law enforcement to get them arrested. You're defending pedophiles. I don't know how they don't recognize that. They acknowledge what they do isn't enough, yet they're putting the kibosh on any kind of help that presents itself. They're not doing everything they can to ensure the users are safe. They're putting them in harm's way by continuing to let bad actors roam the platform. These vigilante groups go the extra mile that Roblox has made clear they don't want to do. They don't want these bad actors to be punished. They want to drop the subject entirely and continue to pursue people who don't. They close off with a tutorial of how to go through the proper channels, which is absolutely useless. It's like giving a tutorial of how to play Concord. It just doesn't matter. You can report people all you want, but if no one's there to take action, then it's ultimately useless. You're wasting your time. It doesn't work, and that's an issue. They then talk about their Trusted Flagger program, where closed and trusted partners can report serious criminal activity, such as terrorism, violent extremists, or child exploitation, to us for our priority review. Basically, someone Roblox puts a lot of weight on, but gets highly neglected, and there's actually several reports, including witness protection programs, that state it doesn't do more than a standard report. They don't even take that into consideration, despite vouching for it. Overall, this was an absolutely horrible response from Roblox. It makes it very clear they are upset people are aware of the platform's problem with predators and continue to do everything they can to deny and bury this information rather than actually address it and try to solve it. They don't care that the predators exist. They care that people are aware and talking about it. Threatening legal action against someone who was victimized on your game and was simply trying to help others not fall victim to what they experienced because the state of the community is in a position where they need external help is absolutely unhinged. So yeah, I just had to talk about this again, and that's really about it. So